Well, good afternoon / early evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to do a video about something that I have really wanted to have on the channel, and I just haven't had a chance to get one in yet. So I really do like this knife. I've gotten to handle it before, never got to have it long enough to do a decent review on it. So what are we going to talk about? Well, you already saw the title. It's the Demko AD-20. And it's pretty freaking awesome. So, guys, if you're watching on headphones, turn down the volume because here comes the music. So, like I said, this is the Demko AD-20. Now, this is not a cold steel knife. This is actually a Demko knife. This is made by, it says Demko Knives on the pivot, Demko Knives, and it is in Wampum, PA. So Andrew does design knives for cold steel, and he's designed some really cool knives. I'm not such a big fan of the AD-15. I thought I would be more along the lines of that when I saw this, and then I got to handle one, and I was like, man, I really, really like this knife. Not much of a knife fidgeter myself. I can see this being something that people truly love because this knife is just, it's a lot of fun. So there's only 2 small issues that I have with this knife. Other than that, this knife is about as close to perfect as a knife like this is gonna get. You know what I mean? This is right up there with knives I would love to have. I just don't have the money for it right now. So, without any further ado, we're gonna take a look at this. This came in to me from from Jared over at Neves Knives. And this came in and I've been carrying it. It's been hard to have anything else in my pocket for 2 reasons. 1, it's kind of heavy. 2, I just like it. So I needed to get this video done so that I can actually start carrying other stuff. So, let's go ahead and I'm gonna get the camera set up and the light set up so we'll get a good look at this because this knife is really, really attractive. And like I said, really, really like this knife. Just only a couple tiny, and they're not even issues with the knife. They're just things that I wish was a little different. So let's go ahead. I'll meet you guys down at the counter. We'll get some specs, we'll get some weight, we'll take a good close look at it. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, guys, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this thing. This thing is a beast, guys. First thing you know, super, super thick, but the action on this is, I gotta say, it's up there with almost any knife I've handled in a very long time. Action on it is super smooth. There is no friction in that. So let's go ahead and we'll play with this a little bit more, but let's go ahead and get the specs out of the way. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at overall length, 8.5 inches with a 3.7 inch blade length. It's 20 CV. This one is in 20 CV, and you can tell because it is marked right there as 20 CV. I don't know how clear you guys are going to be able to see that, but it says 20 CV right there. This does have the shark lock, the Demko shark lock. Look at those thumb studs. And the thing is, they look huge. They look massive. Not at all sharp and aggressive. They are great. This knife is smooth enough you can actually get your thumb in that and just roll it out. It is so effortless. Okay, so blade thickness on this. This is the big one. If you guys, this is a big one for me. This is going to be one of the things that I mentioned. Blade thickness on this is 0.198 inches, guys. That is almost 0.2. Now, to put that in perspective, that big honking stonefish fixed blade I make is only 0.18, usually 175 after surface grinding and things. Scales on this one are G10, and this is listed online as weighing 6.1 ounces. But let's go ahead and fly the scale in. All right, let's get the scale turned on and see what we've got for weight. I imagine this is going to come right at 6 ounces. So in ounces, 6 1/8 ounces. And in grams, for those of you that don't use Freedom units, that is 172 grams. So it's not a light, petite, and dainty knife. This is a big beast. And so now we got the specs out of the way. We'll talk about price last. We'll talk about why I can't own one of these right now. So let's take a close look. Let's get in here close and look. Look at the pivot. First of all, that pivot is just, that is awesome. I like that they have their, they have their maker's mark stamped. They have their name and everything stamped on it. Manufactured. This is an American-made product. Pocket clip on this. I hate most pocket clips. This pocket clip is done incredibly well. That, most of you guys will be like, oh, Mike's going to complain about the pocket clip. Nope, no issue with the pocket clip here. The texturing on this G10, the diamond pattern on this, is just perfect. It's not too aggressive. It has not torn up pants, and it's been carried a lot. Tension on a pocket clip is just about right for about any kind of pants. That shark lock, you can see what a large surface area that shark lock takes up on that tang. Watch when it closes shut. It just, you've got that much. Watch how far that slams in on that. Holy cow, guys. It is engaged, and there is nothing. That is a bank vault. There is no play. Handle on this, super comfortable handle. It is wide, but if you're a guy like me with big hands, this knife is great. Super sharp. That's still a factory edge on it. It is crazy, crazy, stupid sharp. Like I said, action on this, it's got to be up there. This has to be one of the smoothest actions on a knife. And then, like I said, that shark lock is just fun to play with. This is what an axis lock could have been. Axis lock, every knife I've ever owned with an axis lock has developed blade play. My Benchmade 940 has it. Any other knife I've ever had with an axis lock develops blade play. I don't see that happening in this style lock, which is really similar. Watch that move, and then cam up, and then drop in. This is similar, I'm not gonna lie, it's similar to the recoil lock that Artisan uses. It's similar to the axis lock that Benchmade uses, but this is way, way, way stronger. I'm telling you right now, I don't think that you could not get this lock to fail. And that's what Demko is, that's what Andrew, oops, sorry guys. That's what Andrew is famous for, is these incredibly robust locks. So Triad lock, he developed, there's just no way you're gonna get one of those to fail. I doubt if you were able to ever get one of these to fail. Huge standoffs in here, lanyard hole, and then like when you open this, that is just an iconic shape. That is just an iconic shape for a knife. Now, let's get into the two things. We'll talk about the two things I don't like. I mean, the action on this is just perfect. I have used this a couple times. Well, before we do that, let's think about all the other great things about this knife. Look at that blade finish. Look at that stonewash on that blade finish. And like I said, all of this was done so well. Look at all that texturing on that. There's no hot spots. It's nice and soft. The pocket clip sits just perfect. It's not too tall. Everything's chamfered. There's no real hot spots on it, except maybe like if you get your finger up in here, that corner is a little sharp, but you've got to be picky to be pointing that stuff out. And if you really wanted to, you could just take a piece of sandpaper and knock the sharp edges off the inside of this if you really wanted to. Really super attractive package. And like I said, that action is just incredibly smooth. So let's talk about the two things. There's only two things about this knife. I don't like that. I don't like that gap. And it's just an aesthetic thing to me. It's not anything that affects the knife at all. I did pinch myself once with it, but only once. So that's just an aesthetic. I wish that gap wasn't there, but that's just being picky. I mean, in the big scope of things, I can't really find fault with the way this knife was designed. I can't find fault with the way it looks. I do just kind of wish that gap wasn't there. And then the other thing, this thing is so thick behind the edge, guys. Like, I understand this is a robust beater, pound on it and just don't worry about it knife. I just wish it was a little thinner behind the edge. It does cut, it cuts incredibly well. It's just not real slicey. And that's just one of the things. Like, I just wish the grind was a little bit more thin behind the edge. But I mean, those are the only two things, guys. That's the only two things I got. Pocket clip, it's fine. Action, perfect. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and say the action on this is perfect. There are very few knives that get that kind of thing for me. The action on this knife is perfect. Lockup is perfect. The way the lock feels. And on top of that, listen to it. It's as satisfying to hear that knife open and close as it is to rack the slide on like a 50 cal machine gun or a 45 handgun. That just has a feel and sound to it that just sounds so solid. There are pins in it. I did take this apart to look at it to see how this works. It can be tight to get in and out because there's pins through there. You know, I followed Nick Shabazz's advice on how to take it apart. I followed his guidance on it, and it is difficult to get apart and back. It's not hard. It's just tight. What I'm saying is it's not complicated. But yeah, guys, super attractive, and like you can see that. So if you've got this knife down like this, and you push on that lock, and you keep your finger off of it, it's just going to come open, and it's going to fall shut. You can actually kick that lock out of just with the lock. It's like an assist. It's like an assist. So, guys, I could talk about this all day, but let's go ahead and flip this around and do some final thoughts on it. So, like I said, the only issue that I really had with the knife was two small things that are they're just picky stuff. And the fact is that one of those two things, which is the blade thickness behind the edge, I'm going to say is what makes it so robust, and it's what appeals to people. There is no way that this knife in 20 CV at 0.198 thickness and then ground thick behind the edge. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, this thing is screaming sharp. It is screaming sharp. It is super, super sharp. It's just like for cutting certain things, it has the tendency to bind up because it's thick. Now, out in the field, you want something that you can pound through stuff. You don't have to worry about it chipping or breaking or cracking. Dude, this is your knife. So, like I said, that's just a picky little thing. It's just because I like a little thinner, slicier profile. However, like I said, I've got other thick knives that are almost as thick behind the edge as this. Here's the problem that I've got with it. So right now, they are not available on Demko's website, which is where I would buy this from. I'll buy it directly from Andrew and his brother on their website. But the problem is they're not available right now. And if you find them on the secondary market, you're probably going to pay through the nose. I've got it right here. This model, this exact model, 20 CV Black G10, is $425, which that's pricey, but I have other knives, and I'm not going to lie to you, I would buy that. If I had the money, I would buy this all day and twice on Sunday. I just don't have that money. The problem is the only place that I found this in stock when I did a quick search, you know, I could have gotten some in-depth. I'm sure they've got some at Arizona Custom Knives and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you that if you're buying this on the secondary market, the one place I found that had one was for $825, $400 upcharge. So at $825, it's not worth it to me. Like, it's not at all. Like, this is not an $825 knife. It's an incredibly good knife, but it's not an $825 knife. You know what I mean? So if you can find one at the right price, you cannot go wrong. You have got to pick one of these up. If anybody wants to just send me one because, like, I'm not real happy with it, I will take it off your hands for free. I promise you, I love this knife so much. One of the things that I didn't mention is the thumb studs are removable. There's a screw right there that you can take out. It's a Torx. Looks like probably a T8. I didn't try to take that off. But, guys, the action on this is just amazing. You can't stop doing it. It is addictive to play with this knife. I have used it for a couple things. It's not my knife. It's not my knife, so I don't want to screw anything up. It did have a spot where the edge had been rolled. It looked like somebody hit something with it or got into something with it. I did hone it up on a ceramics plate a little bit and came right back up. 20 CV on this just, oh, it's so sharp, guys. I can't say enough about this knife. I'm not even complaining about the less than ample sharpening notch. I like a little bit more ample sharpening notch. It makes it, not that it affects the performance of the knife or anything, but what it does is it allows you to maintain the aesthetics, because a lot of times people will get that sharpening notch and get down into the ricasso. And I just find that unattractive. So it's an aesthetic thing. I'm not even gonna complain about that. If this was my knife, I could easily fix that. Guys, this is such a great knife. Like I said, was not a fan of the AD-15. Did not like that scorpion lock. This, completely different story. So, guys, I love you all, as always. We're going to talk about something real quick. The membership drive that I'm doing, I am still giving away a full stonefish on the 20th. So you guys are going to see this. Today is Monday. You guys will see this Thursday. So today is, what is today's date? Today is the 14th. You guys will see that video on the 17th. The 20th, which is Sunday, is the last day. The 21st, I'm going to pick a winner from the members, the paying members. I'm doing a giveaway for everyone. If you haven't already entered that one, you should. Guys, I can't tell you how cool it is that I get stuff like this in, that I can do things like this. I love you all. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. But please try to tell me why, and don't just be like some people, like, oh, I just don't like your face. That's not a good enough reason. But if you really like the videos, you can give an applause down below. And like I said, there's a membership join button down below, and you get entered into exclusive giveaways. You get early content. I am working on doing a tutorial. I just can't do anything. They're still doing stucco in my yard. I have knives here. I've got to reach out to those people. I can't sharpen out in my yard right now, and I'm definitely not going to do it in the kitchen. I've got people doing stucco in my patio on the back side of the house. So without any further ado, guys, you take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video.